My time with the Leupold Mark V HD started when myself and shooting teammate Riley were officially registered for the Vortex Extreme Challenge. We were partnered up with our main sponsor, Uinta Precision, who sent us to compete in the timed 9-mile hike and scored target shooting competition. Our firearm platform was a bolt-action upper on an AR-10 lower. We wanted to be as light on our feet and in our packs as possible. This sent us on a journey of lightweight, high-performance, and long-range capable optics. While many scope manufacturers boast complex feature sets, high magnification, and illumination, few companies also consider weight when putting a long-range tactical scope together. In fact, with a large amount of tactical shooters working with companies, there has been a push in the optics world in an opposite direction of adding weight to the optics. It can help settle down a rifle for competitive shooting on a stage where you're not likely to move more than about 25 yards. Sure, there are lightweight hunting scopes available, but few offer the reliable tracking with enough internal adjustment for our 6mm Creedmoors to reach out to 1,280 yards, which was one of many targets beyond 900 yards at the Vortex Extreme Challenge. I was at a loss which optic would suit those stringent needs. Luckily, Riley had first-hand experience with a Mark V HD and found that it checked off every item on our list of both wants and needs. He already owned the 5-25 in MOA with the PR-1MOA reticle. To make us better as a team, he contacted Leupold and they were gracious enough to sponsor us a matching scope to give our team an edge, an excellent line of communication looking at the targets with the same reticle and magnification capabilities, which also gave us an advantage of speed while engaging targets and quick, precise shot calling. When I first opened the box and saw the scope, I was surprised by its size. With a 35mm main tube, large turrets, and bold white markings, there's not much that is subtle about it. When holding it on its own, it's possible to understand that it is a lightweight optic. However, hold it at the same time as another similarly optioned rifle scope and it becomes very apparent that Leupold built this scope to be carried a long way in rugged terrain without being a burden. I put it on a scale and it was significantly lighter than a 30mm scope I had on hand. Despite being a larger overall scope, it is the lightweight of all my tactical scopes. After unboxing it, I peer through the scope to see the reticle. It is a minimalist design while still having all the windage and holdover hashes I've come to depend on. The scope was set on a high magnification when I grabbed it, and I can see that the reticle has more holdover available beyond my field of view within the optic. I've become used to scopes that measure roughly 30 MOA down from center, then leave you guessing after that. Not the PR-1MOA reticle. It keeps its hash marks growing in 5 MOA increments after 40. 50, 55, 60, 65, all the way to 100 MOA marked holdover at 5x magnification. Brilliant! Why haven't I seen this before? The Mark V has taken advantage of its entire field of view by making it useful for measuring or holding over from top to bottom, even at lower magnifications. The elevation turret is worthy of an article itself. It has a zero-stop lock with a large button towards the shooter to depress before dialing. No getting mixed up when your rifle is zeroed. The turrets are marked 0 to 25 MOA on the bottom of the turret, with 26 to 48 on the second row and 50 to 70 on the third row. A very useful feature that we used when dialing for our 1,280 yard shot. No mental math while under the pressure of the clock and the heat of other shooters watching you. The first revolution leaves the zero-stop button protruding from the turret. The second revolution, the button is pulled in flush, and as the third revolution begins, a small pin protrudes through the top of the cap and the button is now pulled inside of the cap to indicate that you're a long way from home, and not to forget, you'll be 51 MOA off zero at a minimum. It is a tactile feature as well if for any reason you find yourself dialing in low light. The zero stop button has a solid click with an audible snap while returning home, while also allowing the dial down just a few more MOA low of zero with the cap on. The windage is capped, which doesn't interfere with my shooting style. I dial elevation and hold wind the majority of the time. Although under this cap you will find one of my only complaints with the scope. It's very minimal, but annoying at times. The scope body has a mark to indicate which number you're on. For some reason, that mark is not in the middle of the scope body, like all other scopes I've used. They have moved it to a higher up location, which also leaves more space between the reference line and the number on the turret. This makes it hard to tell which number you're on or may have dialed to. Something small, but still left me asking why. Now we get to the point of every scope review that makes me laugh. In every review video I've seen, they take a look through the scope and give the same old, "The glass is super clear." Well, it should be. For me to sum up this scope's glass would be a great disservice to the clarity of the crisp image and sharp colors that make it through if I simply called it clear. It is exceptional glass and left me impressed even after using other brands of high-end scopes with great glass. The Mark V is truly one of the best. No aberrations to speak of, and a quick to find and easy to stay in eye box, even if dialed to 20x plus magnification. To complement the scope, high aluminum rings were used from Leupold, which were able to keep the objective off the flat rail of the AR-10, but don't expect enough clearance to get any protective caps on the objective end above the flat top AR. We also mounted machined billet aluminum bubble levels from MK Machining, a very important feature I depend on for repeatability at long range with any rifle. Leupold themselves don't offer a 35mm level, so thanks to MK for having them available with exceptional quality to match. To summarize, after using the scopes to conquer 40 long-range targets and hike 9 miles while under a time crunch, the Mark V HD 5-25 MOA first focal plane fit the niche we were looking for, and was a critical part of our 7th place overall finish out of 77 teams at the 2019 Vortex Extreme Challenge. We dialed up from 0 at every stage with varying amounts of dials for each stage, always returning the scope to 0 at the start of the stage, constantly running the turret up and down. I was never lost with adjustments, and the Parallax was quick to set for different ranges. Whether you were looking for a competitive tactical shooting scope or something to take on a sheep hunt, its superior clarity, excellent turret tracking, and lean overall weight make this optic hard to pass up. Most likely because it may be the only one of its kind, along with class-leading performance. I greatly appreciate you guys watching this review. I hope it helped you out with the Mark V HD. It is an absolutely excellent scope. We use them all day long and never had a single issue with them. Thank you, Leupold. We will see you guys in the next one.